Hey friends, Daily Dub, Friday edition, your last Daily Dub before we're fully in the weekend, and also less than 1 week away from the beginning of Toyland, or at least where Josh and I will begin Toyland. I guess technically Toyland starts a week from tomorrow, unless you have the Commanders or whatever the VIP pass is, in which case it starts today, in a week, not today. I'm confused. Hey-o. So, I got two things I want to talk about today. One from Andy. What are some of my hottest sports gas bag takes? You know, Stu Gotts style. I know that there's probably not a huge audience for sports takes on this, so we'll do that briefly. The second topic from MJR 1974. Prior to doing a YouTube channel, which I've done like this for a little bit over a year, but I've had a YouTube channel for like 7 or 8 years. But I just posted random things on it, and I've hidden most of that over the years. But how did I share my collection hobby? Did I do it alone? What about people that don't have people to share it with, family, whatever? So I'll talk about that as well. So first, hottest sports gas bag takes. I don't know that I have a lot. I will say that I believe LeBron James is the best NBA player of all time, better than Michael Jordan. I think that's somewhat hot to people. MJ should be, I have the utmost respect for Michael Jordan, but LeBron physically is at a whole other level than anything that Michael Jordan was competing against in the prime of his career. And I think athletes, just modern athletes, are so much bigger and stronger and faster than they were 30 years ago that it's actually hard to compare. Because if Michael Jordan was a present-day player and had the same strength training regimens that these folks have had in the nutrition, the conditioning, he may be different than what he was then. But I think in a one-on-one game of basketball, LeBron James will beat anybody that's ever played. That's a hot gas bag take, I guess. Let's see, what's another one? I think that Tom Brady is actually an overrated quarterback. Now, I'm sure he's one of the 10, 20 best quarterbacks of all time, but I think that somehow the system that is installed at New England, the Belichick system, is so good that they just can interchange pieces, and you say, okay, but that's because of Brady. But the year that Brady was out, they still won like 10 or 11 games. I know they didn't make the playoffs, but they won 10 or 11 games with Matt Castle. I think it was a quarterback, and he didn't do anything anywhere else. So if it was Castle, I don't remember. Whoever that was that took over for Brady that year struggled in another system. And it's not like New England has had unbelievable top talent receivers and running backs and tight ends all the time. Like, yes, they've had Gronk and Wes Welker and some of these guys over the years, but I think Brady had Randy Moss for 1 year. And that year they went almost undefeated. So I think he's a little overrated. I still think he's fantastic, but I do not think he's quite as good as some of the folks that maybe didn't have the same system or as much help. Those are the two gas bag takes I got. Stu Gotts. Anyway, let's move on to the other topic. Hopefully nobody's like hating on those comments. I really don't care about either one of them that much. I'm just answering the question. So MJR 1974. So before I had YouTube channel, I was still sharing my stuff with people. I host parties quite a bit at my house. I have game night frequently. So I've been in this house for like 3.5 years, and I've probably hosted 10 or 15, 20 kind of house parties, so to speak, where I invite over a bunch of friends from all over the area, and we either are playing games or we're cooking out, grilling, wrestling events, Super Bowl type stuff, anything like that. So I've had people in and out of the house for a long time. And in my previous house, like where my Turtles collection was or things like that, I just have always been a person that I really like to share and let people come and enjoy. And my stuff's always been prominently displayed. It's never hidden away. So a lot of my friends have been taking part in my collection for a long time. I've been sharing things with them, hunting for stuff with them. That's not necessarily anything new than what I've ever done. Now, as far as, obviously the broader audience that is watching here on YouTube or Instagram or something like that, Certainly, it's new, and it has given me a more audience to interact with. It's fun. You can find people that specifically like a niche thing, whereas some of my friends come over and they don't collect. They like what I have. They appreciate the collection. They want to look at it. They want to touch it, play with it, whatever. But they're not going to go with me on a collection tour or hunt or something like that. So it gives me more widespread group, and I do think that YouTube channels, Facebook groups, Instagram is really cool because it helps us all find more like-minded people. Unfortunately, there can be all kind of toxicity and people that act unethically and are dishonest, and that kind of stuff shows up in these groups, and it's really unfortunate. And you know, everybody wants to be a troll when they get called out on those kinds of things. But I guess that's part of hiding behind a keyboard, because a lot of things that people would say or do, they would never do in person. Because I think people are relatively kind and non-confrontational in most cases, but when they're behind a keyboard, they think they have a skill set that they probably don't have. So, at any rate, I really think it's good. It gives us broader horizons. I would encourage you, if you're watching this, to join a Facebook group. Join Josh's Pins Pack Facebook group. It seems to be pretty good. The folks are not doing anything much besides just hanging out and having a good time. Instagram's a great place, too. Follow hashtags on Instagram, because there's not a lot of commentary and words on Instagram, so you can just look at cool pictures and share stuff. But meet your fellow collectors. Find people that are in your area. I mean, David and I are very good friends, and we met through collecting, through a common friend, through Adonis. And we probably would have never met other than the hobby. And now our friendship is well outside of the hobby. I mean, we have a real friendship, real brotherhood that exists in all of the real life stuff too. So meet people, try to find people in your area, look at the sale posts and see where people are selling from. Go, oh, that's the next town over, whatever, and do that. So I do think it's been really positive for me and for my friendships. But I have been able to do this for quite some time, and I know that I'm blessed. I have a very loving and supportive family and friend set. And I also choose my friends very carefully. The people that I meet and interact with in real life, I choose very carefully. And I try to not let anybody in that's going to be negative or pessimistic or hurtful or any of those things. So anyway, that's Daily Dub for Friday. You get one more Daily Dub tomorrow, a new episode of Dub Life on Sunday. We keep the train rolling. You know, choo-choo, put it in the mouth. Hey, squeeze it.